The Labour conference has drawn to a close, with the treatment of an 82-year-old protester threatening to overshadow proceedings. The party has apologised for the way that Wolfgang was ejected during Jack Straw's speech. But why has Labour's tolerance of protests changed? Sky's Jane Secco reports.
As far as assaults on the government go, it didn't seem that threatening. Wolfgang was armed with little more than his CND badge and a loud voice, but it was enough to bring the full force of the government's anti-terror legislation down upon his greying head. His crime? Well, this 82-year-old had the temerity to disagree with the Foreign Secretary about Iraq. Even worse, he said so out loud.
Democratic and stable nation. And two, we can only and will only remain there with their consent.
As a youth, this Surrey pensioner had escaped the Nazis, but neither he nor his supporter were nimble enough to dodge the volunteer stewards drafted in by the Labour Party.
Welcome back to conference.
He was welcomed back into the fold after Labour realised its faux pas, but he wasn't impressed.
There have been people who've been irresponsible enough to hire heavies. You cannot stifle debate by hiring heavies. A party has to be open. It's got to be open to the world, and it's got to also discuss international issues instead of ignoring it.
We played a vital role in winning Labour's historic third term, and will now play a vital role in its success.
Inside, there was friendly support and apologies all round.
We're really sorry. It shouldn't have happened.
We do apologise.
I'm sorry about yesterday. I was on the platform. We didn't want it. It shouldn't have happened. It's not the way we do things. And here, everybody is really sorry, and we apologise for that.
The target of his wrath is no stranger to putting his own two penneth in. In his youth, Jack Straw was a firebrand student leader known for his radical views. He even had his own file, courtesy of MI5.
Handing out redundancy notices to its own workers!
Of course, blood on the carpet at the Labour conference is nothing new. It was 20 years ago that Derek Hatton almost came to blows with then-leader Neil Kinnock. In those days, delegates walked out themselves without needing to be ejected.
I say that is an affront to every progressive value we believe in.
This is what the Labour Party hoped its conference would be remembered for, a rousing speech from its leader, the party members united. But their desire to keep disunity off the front pages has backfired in spectacular fashion. Conference 2005 will be remembered for this diminutive heckler. What is the party so afraid of?
20 or 30 years ago, something like this would have not raised an eyebrow. In fact, if you weren't heckling, there was something wrong with you at a Labour Party conference. The mood at times between the activists and the leadership was one of war. But think about it from the Labour Party's point of view. 20 or 30 years ago, they were losing elections. And from the moment New Labour was formed, there was a desire not to do that, to be different. And not to allow internal conflicts like this to cost them elections.
During the last election campaign, Labour, laboured the fact that they are available to the public.
We, the people, have our own ideas at ground level, at grassroots, of the things that we need in for us.
But it's all smoke and mirrors, according to some. The Socialist Worker paper hasn't been granted a pass to the Labour conference since 1997.
People feel they're frozen out, as they have been at Brighton, from conventional politics in this country. They are going to find new ways of expressing themselves, and I think the anti-war movement has been a tribute to that, but it takes other forms as well, environmentalism, even the sort of activity, the strikes we saw at Heathrow earlier this year. I think that frustration is going to be expressed in different ways.
Stop. Stay still. Thank you. They never bring a makeup girl, do they?
It's not the first time the government's been accused of being heavy-handed with a protester. In July, Brian Hall won his fight to keep a permanent protest outside the Houses of Parliament. The government had argued Mr Hall posed a potential security risk, but the courts disagreed.
It's not decent, is it? I think I should be able to shout out against that, don't you? Against genocide. And this dear old age pensioner who's dragged out, what was the terrible word he said?
He said nonsense.
Nonsense. Yes, it's all nonsense.
Walter Wolfgang has left the conference something of a celebrity. But behind the smiles, the Labour Party knows the damage to its image has already been done. Jane Secker, Sky News.